Dub Nation, we are going to break down the Warriors' loss to the Nuggets on today's show, but of course they do have 4 big games coming up on the East Coast, so if you want the Golden State Warriors to get back in the win column by beating the Wizards, the Knicks, the Raptors, and the Celtics, it's pretty simple. All you guys have to do is comment Warriors win down below if you want them to sweep the East on their road trip. Welcome into Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and like I said, we're going to break down the Warriors' loss to the Nuggets last night because there's some reoccurring trends that are really preventing the Warriors from being a dominant contender in the Western Conference right now. And on the back half of the show, Steve Kerr had some pretty harsh comments to say about Moses Moody's playing time. While it is very realistic, and I understand the Warriors have a lot of talent, Moses Moody might not be in the Bay Area in the offseason. We're going to break that down just a little bit later, but first, I want to talk about the Nuggets loss real quick because that one stung. Because this is something the Golden State Warriors have done almost the entire season. Blown leads. They did it to the Lakers, forcing them into double overtime, a loss. To the LA Clippers, the Sacramento Kings. They did it again to the top contender of the Western Conference, the Oklahoma City Thunder, forced it into overtime, lost 138-126. The Denver Nuggets, they did it again. They were up by 16 points by halftime. And then Jokic and Jamal Murray did what they did, and they're the best duo in the NBA right now. They absolutely dominated, ended up beating the Warriors by 16 points. It gets exhausting. I'm going to be honest. The fact the Warriors have the most losses with a 15-plus lead in their games this season is exhausting. They're currently tied with San Antonio for that record in the NBA, but it's just becoming a point of, are they letting their foot off the gas? Are they getting cocky? Are they just running things they should not be running once they have the lead that's forcing them to blow it up? Because, in all honesty, the Warriors can't compete without a true big. And that's the one thing I see every single season, including when they go into the playoffs last year and they lose the Lakers in the second round. It makes me wonder, maybe if they had a true big, they could be competing. Maybe if they had a true big, they can withstand somebody like a Joker in the paint the entire 4 quarters. Because the Western Conference is ginormous. It truly is. These are just a few bigs that are dominating the Western Conference right now. And I'm not going to discredit what the Joker did last night to the Warriors because there's a reason why he's a 2-time MVP winner. He is one of the best basketball players in the league right now. But Karl Anthony-Towns, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, Chet Holmgren, these are all players the Warriors have to face twice in the regular season. And without a true big, I just can't see how it's easy to maintain a lead without constantly relying on the three-point game from Brandon Podziemski, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. Because look, the Warriors do not have a true center. That's nothing new. And while Draymond Green's defensive assets do provide enough to be able to win, maybe not win enough in a 7-game series like they would have in the playoffs, going up possibly against one of these bigger Western Conference teams. Especially if Golden State's offense isn't falling the way it normally is. That's how the Golden State Warriors typically win most of their games, is because of the 3-ball that the Warriors have dominated over the last decade. On defense, Draymond Green provides enough to hold off a big, but if the offense isn't working and Draymond's falling to a bigger guy that's over 7 feet, it's a recipe for disaster, which leads me to believe that Steve Kerr's small ball can only work for so long. I've seen your comments down below. The small ball is getting outplayed, and to be a true contender in the Western Conference, you have to point blank have a true center. But the Warriors are still holding their own. They really are. There are some nights where their faults do get exposed, and it makes us remind everybody, oh crap, we do have some things we need to work on. However, despite not having a true center, they're still second in the NBA in rebounds per game with 46.7. Their defensive rating is 18th in the NBA. We know they struggled in the second half of the season, but their opponents' points in the paint is 17th in the NBA. They're giving up about 50.6 a game, which is just a little bit too much in my opinion. Most nights, the Warriors do hold off the bigs pretty well. We saw it a couple weeks ago. Draymond Green against Joel Embiid. he really did put him in his place, only forcing him to shoot 2 free throws the entire night when this guy, I swear, is at the line over 10 times a game. Draymond Green does a good enough job to win most games. But is it enough to win the NBA Finals? No, it is unfortunately not. So with that being said, knowing the free agency is looming, name a big man you want on the Warriors. Go ahead and comment it down below. Is this a move the Warriors need to make in the offseason by giving up assets to finally bring somebody like a 7'3" big man to the Golden State Warriors? Go ahead and comment that down below. And while you guys are doing that, let me give a huge shout out to Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. And look, I know football season's over and it hurts my heart, but the good part about Prize Picks is that basketball season is going headstrong in Prize Picks right now, and it's not just NBA. They also have it for college basketball, and some of the conference tournaments are creeping up, which means the biggest moments in college basketball are getting closer. You can be a part of the action on Prize Picks for both men and women's college basketball, along with their favorite stars in the NBA as well, and they are not biased. You can mix and match all of your picks as many times as you want. So I went on ahead and made some picks for tonight's ball games. Of course, I went with an NBA easy pick, in my opinion. That is a Goblin, which is an easier pick. Not as much of a payout, but I think Jalen Brunson having more than 24.5 points should be a lock. And then I went on ahead and picked TCU Baylor for tonight. Emmanuel Miller to have more than 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. If you guys like these Prize Picks, go ahead and copy them. If you don't want to, you can go to the promos tab right now and follow along with some of your favorite artists like Meek Mill and Sugar Sean O'Malley. But you can also make your own. Just go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100 and watch yourself win some real money in real time. I want to pull up this quote here real quick as we transition over to Moses Moody and his time with the Golden State Warriors, because this stuck out to me. And I'll be honest, it kind of stung. He said, look, he's out of the loop right now. That doesn't mean it's the case for the rest of the season. But Steve Kerr, the way that you've been struggling with rotation night in and night out, I believe it's going to be for the rest of the season. And I hate to see this for somebody like Moses Moody. Kerr said there's not enough minutes to play everybody. That I do understand. When you're already going through 11 players a night, it's probably hard to get that 12th man in there, which of course would be Moses Moody. But the young guy has so much to offer. He's just been plagued by injuries, which is the downside of playing professional basketball. But speaking of injuries, Shams Charania of The Athletic did tweet out that Chris Paul has been taken off the injury report for the Golden State Warriors. And while this is great news to have a leader in the second rotation, this is tough for somebody like Moses Moody hearing this, knowing that I'm already struggling with minutes per game right now, and now I'm going to have a 38-year-old veteran come back. CP3's minutes will impact Moody's minutes. And I do agree that Chris Paul should be playing more minutes than Moses Moody. But to be the victim of the rotation night in and night out, I think Moses Moody's future in the Golden State area has officially become in question, because what purpose will he serve if he is playing 2 minutes, 8 minutes, 20 minutes, which was pretty unusual for Steve Kerr to play Moses Moody that long, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. It's unfortunate to see a player who just picked up the team option for 2024-25 now reach the end of the bench. And it makes me wonder what Mike Dunleavy was doing. Why not trade away Moses Moody before the deadline happened to not waste his talent on the Golden State Warriors bench? Because Dalton Johnson tweeted this out, and it immediately just put things into perspective for me to know that pretty wild that Moses Moody now plays much as Pat Spencer and Usman Garuba. However, that is the name of the game. It is business, but it does make me wonder, will the Warriors move on from Moses Moody in the offseason? If you're not going to play him, it's wasting talent on the bench. I have enjoyed everything Moses Moody has shown for the Golden State Warriors. Would I have liked to see a little bit more activity while he did get those minutes, the way that Jonathan Kuminga stood out to Steve Kerr? Absolutely. But it does lie with confidence as well. But here's what you guys should know about Moses Moody's future with the Bay Area team. In 2024, they did take the $5.8 million team option. He has missed 10-plus games this season with injuries, and once again, injuries happen to everybody. It's unfortunate that he is this young and dealing with severe injuries. However, he will be eligible for a trade in the offseason. So that leaves me with one question to ask Dub Nation. Should the Warriors trade Moses Moody in the offseason? Go on ahead and comment why or why not. I think it's really going to determine whether or not he will play more than Chris Paul when he does return from an injury. As I see that not really being realistic, I do think what's realistic is that Moses Moody will no longer be a part of the Golden State Warriors. But I'm not Mike Dunleavy. This is just my opinion, and these are just stats that I put together to show you guys. Comment why or why not, and as always, all you guys have to do to be in the know, if Moses Moody leaves, if Chris Paul gets hurt again, if anything happens with the Golden State Warriors, and hopefully they pick up a big soon, we're going to have it right here on Warriors Today by Chat Sports. So all you guys have to do is hit that sub button for me.